that happen in our everyday life. So for those who read the book or will read the book, I hope we are not going to spoil it for you, and we hope this is going to be a motivation for you to buy or read the book. And for those who read it, may it give you a different look to the book. I'm going to read a line from it's lines from chapter 1, the tragic birth. I feel like an orphan, Deng said. Deng sadly asserted. Why? Alier asked, in shock. I have never felt the presence of a father in my life. My father never had time to come and play with us or tell us nighttime stories, as I had from other children. He enjoyed his time with his other children. I sometimes blame my mother for accepting a polygamous man. Deng burst out. Take it easy. It should rather be a lesson to you that polygamy leaves other children orphans. Now, in some families or some societies, nighttime story is looked at like a Hawaii thing. So if you tell your child that, if a child complains that my father is not spending night time with us to tell us stories, you will be told, oh, you know, you cannot tell your dad like that. So what do you think? Does this contribute to our upbringing, parenting as a collective responsibility? Because in some cultures, it's believed that if a child succeeds or fails, it's entirely because of the mother. Because a father is supposed to provide, give a shelter. The rest is the work of the mother. So do you think that affects child upbringing? Because child upbringing or parenting is supposed to be a collective responsibility. So if your father sees you once in a while, like after maybe 5 years, or maybe after the other child is not breastfeeding anymore, so do you think this affects child upbringing? Father not having time with children?
Hello guys. Before I talk about the book, I would like to thank my brother, Tom. You can say I'm his cousin. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Akok Tuyakok. This is my first time to be in South. I was born and raised in Sudan. I did bachelor in economic science. I came here to Juba 4 months ago, and my brother Tom told me about his book. I didn't get time to read the book, so I said, let me come over today, buy myself a book, and read it in the next days. Concerning the question, father presidency helps a lot. I'm one of those who was not able to have a full time with my father because he was always a busy man. He's not around, or he cannot always be around. So the presence of father beside his or his son or his daughter matter a lot. It helps, it gives guidance, it tells about life, it gives a lot of experience about life. So the presence of father matter a lot. The duty of a father is not only about giving money, taking responsibility of a family. No, it's include parental help, parental education, guidance, so that the son or the daughter can go in a correct way. So father's rules is very important in life. Apart from financial responsibility, there should also be parental education, which matter the most. You have to teach your child how to lead his life, how to go straight in his life, how to utilize his money, his resources, if he has money. Lastly, I want to say to my brother Tom, congratulations for the book. I hope I will read it this time. I wish you all the best, and I hope this will be the beginning of your academic adventure. So I wish you all the best. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you all for your presence.
Welcome back. Munde?
Thank you very much. Hello. Yes, my name is Mandelo Almatian, also known as the Unapologetic Poet. I'm a poet, a writer too, though I haven't written any book yet. Yeah, but I have so many writings that are not published. First of all, I want to congratulate my brother for this Poverty Robbed Me book. I've seen it for a while, and the day before yesterday is when I seen the poster out, and I decided to come through here and be a witness to this historic launching of Poverty Robbed Me. To talk about Poverty Robbed Me, I haven't read the book, but the title itself creates a lot of scenarios in the heads. You know, it gives a lot of, for me, it's like a movie, always, because it reflects our day-to-day life today in South Sudan and across Africa. As young people and as Africans, poverty robbed us psychologically, you know, let's say, you know, with material things, and just life itself has become dull and dark with poverty. And so the title itself captivates me, and it gives me lots of imagination, to which I cannot even imagine the experience that are written in that book, you know. It must be so deep and, you know, so challenging, and also the sacrifice that he's taking, the long ties, the family, and all that he is giving up just to have this Poverty Robbed Me book. He's a big up and a thumb up for my brother, Tom. To come to the question of does this affect our society, polygamies and stuff like that, there is a saying like father, like son, you know? Like father, like a son. The most one thing a child looks up or looks for in a dad is the traits, not anything else. The traits of a man that gave birth to you. How does this man do his things? How does he act? How does he react? How does he handle his problems and stuff like that? So yes, it affects a lot when you grow up without a father. And that can be a big gap, cause someone psychological problems or physical problems, whatever it is. Somebody can despise themselves because their father is somewhere and they are somewhere, and they think their father doesn't love them. Maybe, you know, it's a wide range of things that are involved. So yes, finally, I'm just grateful to be here to witness this. Just, you know, to be a part of the launching of the book, and looking forward to read it. I don't know the imaginations and whatever that he has in it, but it must be really worthy of the title. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So most South Sudanese think that suffering makes a successful child. Like, what about the childhood? What about the parenting? It goes back to what he just said, that children should have someone they look up to. But sometimes, this is just food for thought. Sometimes most of the achieving parents in South Sudan, most of those who have a personality already, those who have already built on their legacy, have children that are not even half of where they have gone. So the question is, what are our parents doing wrong? What is the way forward? Or you as a parent, what are you going to do different for your children to be different? What is making our children? Is it the gap? Is it the society? Is it the cultural shock we have? Is it the different culture South Sudan is experiencing? Is it the transition? Is it the everyday hustle to survive that is keeping you far away from your children? So this is food for thought. And then the book also talks about, should we focus on career? Should we focus on love? Or can we have it all? Can we have the love? Can we have the career? Can we choose one between the two? And then, do you think self-development is necessary before falling in love or getting married? Or do you think you can do both at the same time? So as you think about this, I would love to invite Ustaz Gabriel Shadar, a media personality, a house of literature, an informed human being, all of the great things that you would ever think of. A great father, and Ustaz Gabriel Shadar, please, I'm inviting him as the moderator for the panel, and he will introduce his team.
Good evening. It's my pleasure to be here today with you. I'm Gabriel Shadar. I'm a journalist by profession. I'm working with Radio Miraya, but I'm here in my personal capacity to support my young friend Tom in his first production, and this novel, or novella, as we can say. He gave me the book last year, and I read it, and I read it again when he invited me again to this function. So I'm happy to moderate. Thanks, Salit, for inviting me also. The panel discussion, which might go for like 1 hour, will have comments from the author, and then comments from those who have been invited to speak today. So let me first call on Honorable Mashar Ashik. You are welcome, Honorable Mashar Ashik. You are welcome to join us here. He has come here to see what the young people are doing. Let us welcome him. Yes, you are welcome. Then let me call on Madame Grace Daniel, a lecturer at the University of Juba. You are welcome. And also let me call on Ustaz Chol John, lecturer at the University of Juba. And last but not least is the celebrant, Tong Rueth, the author. Do we have another mic, or we are just using this one? Yes, the panel is here, and to introduce this discussion, we are here today at this center where most of the artists come here, and those who are involved in different ways of arts, and today is for writing. And we are here today about this novella called Poverty Robbed Me. And this is a genre of literature that seems to be coming up in South Sudan. And we have quite few books or novels being written, purely literature. South Sudanese are known for writing, but most of the writings are historical, political, and biographies. But just writing pure arts, literature, novels, maybe we have more poets than more people who are writing novels. So this is another attempt, a new attempt that we are having. And it's somebody who is not even specialized in literature, but that is the irony of writing. You don't need to be specialized in literature to write. So we have to get away with that assumption. that you can write as long as you have something valuable, a story to say, you can write. So it's not a problem at all, and as long as you have the ability to tell your story. So I will not have the right, or I will not preserve the right to myself to comment on the work, but let me call on our brother, my young brother, Luet, because every production has a history or has a background. So I will give you a few minutes to speak about how you came about producing this work. Welcome. Let us welcome him.
Thank you everyone in the room. First of all, I would like to acknowledge God for giving us this opportunity. It is not something easy, but we thank God we were able to make it. I would like to welcome all of you. My brother Shwal, Honorable, thank you for listening to my call and you made it today. Thank you also, Madam. Madam is she was my supervisor and my lecturer. A lot of times she could advise me, and she could say that I'm not advising you as my student, but I'm advising you as my son. So thank you for coming today. Thank you, Ustaz Gabriel. It is a pleasure that you have come and made it today. I really appreciate it. And thank you everyone in the audience. Thank you for coming. To my family, Matiok, and Mungdeng, Kual, Brother Deras, those in the room, I welcome you. And to my special friend, my favorite person, Ebru Nare, thank you for being there always. Even when things get tough, you would always say the word that why can the sleeping beast in me? Thank you for being such a supportive partner. To everyone who is online or who is watching live, I thank you also for taking your time to watch us. Today is my book launch. My book was published last year in April 22, and we are especially I'm very glad to be done this year again in April. I would say April is my best month. I was born in April, and everything that is good to me always falls in April. So I thank God for that. To begin with, Poverty Robbed Me talks about how youth are robbed in every stage of life. People are aware how a lot of youth are struggling in this country. Not only robbing them with their love, rob them their educations, their career, and also their freedom and their right. If you look at the community we live in, 99% problem we have is caused by youth. And if you do research why youth are always at the crime scene, it is because they are poor. A lot of them are used. When you are poor, you don't have right to do anything. Someone might come and give you something and say, let's do this, and you will not have option. So you have to do it because you are hungry. So if you look at the every corner in South Sudan, like road going to some other different places like Barkaza Road, Bo Road, many times you heard people are shoot on the road. And if you look at that, these are the youth. They are doing that. They are not proud of what they are doing, but because of poverty is forcing them to do what they are doing. There are youth who are forced out of school because they cannot afford or because they are poor. So poverty, it is robbing everyone in this country. A lot of people, young girls are forced out of school to be given to marriage because parents, they need something. Poverty is forcing them to bring them out from the school. Not only that, there are some other girls, they are standing, selling, doing other business which is not good. You can find them at the Talabara where it is poverty forcing them to do that. They are doing something they are not proud of. And if you ask someone, are you proud of what you are doing? They will not say yes. They will say no. But there's something forcing them. So poverty has robbed everyone in this country, especially youth, are at high risk. They are forced to do something they are not proud because of being for. So what inspired me to write this, when I look at the situation we are living in, there are a lot of things that we see that are taking place which are not right. And how the youth, it is our ability to narrate them, to aware people that these things are not good. So this is my inspiration. I was inspired to tell the story, and our story can be best told by us, not other people outside. And this was my biggest inspiration behind everything. So thank you so much. I would like to stop here.
Thanks. Let's thank him for his deep thinking and his care about what he sees around. Because you have to be inspired by something. Before you write, you have to have a vision, you have to see what's going around you. It's not necessarily that you are feeling it, but if you are sensitive enough, you can see what is around you in your environment, in your life, how people are living, and then you do something about it. So he tried to treat the situation in the lives of those of Deng, Atong, William, Yar, and the rest. So these people live in the Sudanese. So I will not say much about that, but I'll give you to discover how these things are playing into one another. You see, moving from one place to another, changing perspectives, events happening, people in power, and people who are not in power. People are being exploited to exploit others. It's an interesting, but the question I would like Tom to answer is, you seem to have saved your protagonist in the end. Why did you save them?
Yeah, thank you. If you look at the whole thing, like the way actually these people they are doing it, they are. Let me say, it is actually the flow of the story, and always you have to have the good ending. And if you look at the story of them, the way he struggles, so it has to.
You had to make a good ending for him.
Good ending for him.
So you can see the book is misleading title, right? You can say, poverty robbed me. You say, oh, sorry for this. But he's saving the persons in the story. They will come there in the discussion with. Thank you very much. Let us, yes.
But he was robbed, but at the end, because he did not give up,
yeah.
The story also telling us he should not give up when things are not good.
Mm-hmm.
So it is like the guy persevered, he never gave up, and he keep pushing until he made it.
Yeah.
So we can learn that no matter the obstacle, no matter the struggle you're in, you don't have to give up. You have to defy all the odds and make it at the end of the everything.
Well, let's give a hand to Dongrat for this kind of creative work that is just done. And I don't want to deprive you of the pleasure of reading for yourself and discovering things. Because we analysts, we analyze in different levels. So I don't want to spoil your pleasure, but I want you to read the book and then make your mind about it. So let me give the chance now to Ustaz Chwal Jon, lecturer at the University of Juba, to give us his view of the book and what are the most characteristics he likes about the book. Because we are here to encourage also people, not to say thank you to Tom, but also to encourage people to read, because we have a problem with reading here in this country. Welcome, Ustaz.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate. I've been hearing about Ustaz Gabriel Shedar. Actually, I've been hearing about you a long time ago from radio and different places, but I never seen you physically. So it is really a great pleasure to be together with you today. And also, I really, it is also a great pleasure to share the stage with Honorable Machar. Is our respected Honorable. You have served in different capacity in the government, and we give him respect for his service that he have been giving to the South Sudanese up to now. So really great pleasure. And also for Mama, actually I'm a lecturer at University of Juba, but because we are in different departments, maybe we did not able to meet. It is really great pleasure. So this is also a time that we can able to make networks. When we come to a place like this, we can able to network. What you can do is that don't go back without making a friend, because this is a place where you can find great people. So without taking time, actually before Alice was asking about this one is the cover. So I think we cannot say more about the cover than saying that when we said Puppet robbed me, so I think tongues mean that the love that you have given to different, okay, like the love that Deng, okay, we are talking about the story of Deng in this book, but actually we can see two people who are together, a lady and a girl, and then there is someone who is watching them. So it's like these two guys are in love, but there is someone who is behind them, like he didn't like what is happening. But what would read me most about the book, actually the book I've talk a lot, and the title is very wide. When we try to understand it in different perspective, let's say that public can rob us in different way, as it has been said before. Of course, not having enough money or not being wealthy sometimes is actually a thing that can be a challenge in life, and for us to get there, like to get to where we want it to be, it can be a collective challenge for all the young peoples. We can be robbed in many places. Let's say we can be robbed in business. You have your idea that you want to put in use, but because of the money or the fund that you need to invest, for that case you can be robbed. There's also another way you can be robbed, like what happened here in the story of Deng. Of course, Deng was in love with a girl, and of course we know what is happening in our society. We put cattle as our wealth. So if you don't have enough cattle, you cannot able to struggle to get wife. So for this reason, it is actually very hard for Deng to get a girl that he likes, and the family are demanding also. So this is actually a very big story that we can able to appreciate. And in other ways also, public can rob us in many ways. If not because of the girl that Deng wanted, he would not have gone to all these different places that we have seen. But what I got to like about Deng is that in any place that he goes, he can have a struggle to make sure that he's getting money or is bringing money home. And this is what all of us can fight for. When we are in Juba, we are in Juba that we can work, or we can make sure that we are getting, we are serving the young ones, or we are serving our parents, or in different perspective, we are serving our wife. So for this case, it is very important for them to be going anywhere. So this one can encourage everyone. So when you are in town, even when you are in school or you are studying, you have to make sure that you are making some work. And then you have struggled a lot. You have did border work. You have also tried to do a lot of things. Even the time when they were in, somewhere, we wanted to do some fishing, and also he did a lot to make sure that people are surviving. So this is exactly how life can go, and I'm really inspired by how this, how Deng tried to make sure that he did not give up until he got what he wanted. So this is also a great story, and when we also reflect this one, is talking about, sometimes we can see it in perspective, it's talking about culture, because here there is culture involved, and also at some point it's talking about life that is required by the couples. And again, the most important part was talking about love And all these ones are connected to culture that they came from. And this is actually very exceptional. And this is all I can give for now. But I'm very happy to be in this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's clap for Ustaz John, for your comments. I come quickly to Madam and the supervisor. You are welcome. And perhaps also this is an opportunity, not because you are a woman, but this novel seems to be treating women in certain ways, or women reacting to events in certain ways. We have, in the end, a woman who was forced married to an elderly, and when in the end of the story she found him and she went back to her love of her youth. But there are a lot of things going on there. I don't want to go through, but let's have your comments. Welcome.
Okay, all protocol in place. You viewers there, I greet you all this evening. Thank you for coming, and I appreciate. I've been hearing you on the radio, but it's nice that I've seen you today. So thank you very much. I'm by the name Grace Baba Daniel. I'm a lecturer at the University of Juba, and my son, I supervised him. So he gave me the book. When I got the book, let me tell you, I read it within one day. So I advise you people to do the same. Imagine my age, but because I was excited, I want to see the beginning and the end of the book. Of course, it has been said about culture, but this book talked about different people of South Sudan, because those ones who were in prison were people of Upper Nile, others are from Baragazal, and one of them was from Equatoria. So this book tells us exactly what are the hard times that we experience in life. Yeah, my children, I'm a mother, I have children of your age. Life is not easy. So what comes when we have challenges? Tough times come. It may come in a relationship, it may come in school, it may come in any form. How do you handle it? We are going to face such things in our life. You are a boy, you are a lady, old man, young man, how do you? It is our mind. Deng was a good character because he's a person who persevered. He tolerated, and he knew that challenges come and there is time for challenges to end. Do we really agree about that? Because you have seen, if you read, you will know that challenges will come. How do you handle challenges? You know, the challenge hits your mind. If the challenge hits your mind, whether it is love relationship, lack of money, and you slip behind, let me tell you, you never go ahead. Are you discouraged when you have challenges? Are you bold enough to say, yes, you have come, I will go over it? So this is the character of Deng. Many characters were said, and most of them were orphans. Some lost, Ngor Rasta lost both of his parents. Deng lost a mother. Selwa also lost a father. No, not Selwa, this year. Lost a father. So see how tough times they went through. But it never made them to slip back that let me cry. I wish my mother or my father was alive. I would be okay. So please, it was earlier said that children of ministers these days, what is wrong with them? Because giving, this has led us behind. Let us see, let your child struggle so that he or she will be strong. You give money, the TV is there, they get lessons from the TV. Is it a positive one? Now this is for us. So this book, if you read them, if you read all those who will buy, I tell you, you will encourage some people. So you youth, you are going to finish school and getting work is not easy. But my son has made it. He's making money now because he has written a book. So let us be job creator, not job seeker. So my son, I encourage you to write more, not only about love stories, but you as an agricultural student, we are having lack of food in our country, so do more. Like what the story of Deng was. Imagine with all the ups and downs, but in the end, Deng became a prosperous person. And the love of his heart came back. So my daughters, please don't be moved because of money. Make sure that you make money yourself, so that you also share your money with the other. My senior is here. Let us be parents who guide our children in the right way. Let us not give our daughters because we want money. Because if I don't have peace in mind, I will have a problem. Yes. So the book is very interesting. I tell you people, please, whoever has come here, buy for yourself and take others for your beloved one at home. So thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. Thanks, Mrs. Grace Daniel, for your kind words and also encouragements. Now I come to our elder. When we were chatting there, I've known him and he has known me for a long time. I think 2 people know me and 2 people don't know me. That's quite a balance. I knew him when he was in Khartoum, the Ministry of Petroleum, and here also. And I know some of his children. Some of them are my age mates, some of them are younger than me. And he has a very good family. And he's one of the unique elders who are really bringing up good families. Very respected and professional in their own ways of lives. And his children, you don't hear them making noise in the town. They are not notorious. But when we are having somebody like him, he's over 70, and he looks healthier, and he looks strong and smart, we feel happy for his presence. Welcome. Sharasha.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Greater, for your very kind words. You have given me more than what I deserve. My children are already interacting with them. Dr. Adair in the University of Juba, and we will have the right to evaluate him. Others are in different fields, and the right to evaluate them. All of you are young people, even yourself. You are trying to push yourself nearer to me, but it is not true. You see, it is not that I have no job to do in the afternoon. It is that I am interested to see who are these people who are taking over the country. Because South Sudan has gone through stages. And the last stage was the War of Liberation. I was involved in the Nyanya one, but I didn't go for the second time. This one lasted, although Kwanyin Bol, those of who were with me went back, I didn't go. Now, that generation of liberation has done their job, but it's now the duty of the generation, the present generation, to find a role for themselves. What are you supposed to do? Because you are supposed to be a generation of development. And who are to provide you with the tools of development? The factors of production, for those of you in economics, and even some laymen, the factors of production are land, capital. You have very rich land, capital. I made a lot of it myself when I was Under Secretary of Ministry of Petroleum. Third, labor, which is you. Entrepreneurship. Now, an entrepreneur is a person who is innovative. In a situation where entrepreneurs are not innovative, then that country is lost. You have people who did not even go to the universities. Like the electricity we are enjoying. The man who created the bulbs, he didn't go to the university. But he's the man who has used his mind to do something. So the message from your lecturer, that be creative, create your own jobs, is in place. And this is why when I get invitation from young people and I have no commitment, I come, they push it. Yes. And I was beginning to wonder, are these young people really serious or are they joking? Why are they pushing? This is my first time to come to this place. I know this young man, he is a young man to me. He has been a very serious person. And when I saw him here, I said, okay, things are starting to move now. Now, I read Julius Caesar as a play for my school certificate. I read Noble, the African Queen, and with others, they took me to University of Khartoum. Then I didn't take English. I took a different thing altogether. And when I got this book, I don't want to create prejudice for you, but I try to read it. The most important part of it, and she has touched on it, because she has been the supervisor, is that the book has covered almost the whole Sudan. In that, the conditions which you are supposed to be fighting, ignorance, poverty, which your generation should start to fight, killed the mother of them, who had the last minute to entrust them to the fourth wife of Bingaji. Please take care of my child. And then Dem was taken to Khartoum. And there, people went to Cairo and left him with 100 pounds. And sisters were sent back. Then was picked up by Gadwa. You see, they were now taking care of Jan. Then the tragedy hit the Gadwa. He went to Benty. And then Imam Mahmoud took care of him. That is Sudan. Then, with the human weakness, they got into trouble with Salwa. And through the stages of schools, you will always get a bully boy. He got that Salwa, somebody who wanted to own Salwa and wanted to beat whoever was seen to be moving with Salwa. This also got him into trouble. And the sympathy of mother of Salwa, together with Salwa, made them to survive to come up to Juba. See? In Juba, with a human weakness again, he got into trouble with Yar. Yar, who had also lost her mother at a very early age. And then they went all the way back to Khartoum. And Atong, who had also lost her mother and was given a very good advice of how she would behave, met a certain Kiden here. And they got to be involved in the way you people tried to say before that, what is going on in the streets of Juba needs something to be done about it. And what the whole political leadership is all about. What the Ministry of Culture, what is it supposed to do? We have a situation, and I don't want to talk politics. We have a situation where we are keeping our children outside the country, and we want to rule this country with the children of others. Now the children in Uganda, in Kenya, in Ethiopia, will they be part of the leadership of this country? God forbid. Because they will come with different cultures, which when they come here will be incompatible with the cultures being developed here. Incompatible. And there will be conflict throughout. And in a country where there is conflict throughout, nobody will come to invest in that country. And without any investment in that country, there is no economic development. No, it will not happen. Take it for a fact. So we have a situation where they got away with the yard, and they thought that they hit themselves. And then with her troubles, and then with Atong abandoned the advice of the parents and took up the role which was assigned her by Mangadi. Mangadi wanted to sell her to William. And the issue of cattle, as it was mentioned before, is so dangerous. I have 8 daughters myself. And the worst thing during our time backwards, and maybe we are getting out of it, is that we don't have the right to choose who should marry whom. We now wait for those who agree and they come back to us. The danger with that is that those who agree, sometimes they agree for 1 or 2 years and they end up to say that we are divorcing. That is another tragedy. What type of children will grow up under such conditions? However, I don't want to read the book for you. Experience of them. If it was not a tongue, nobody would have brought him back to Khartoum, to Juba. But Mangadi, he dishonored. He could not pay the complete amount to Atong. So Atong said, okay, Karban. She went back and exposed everything and said has made it that Yarmas in the end is the wife of them. Went back, disclosed everything to Yar, all what happened, and all that. I would say that Deng had not also been a good person in a way, which had all been covered for you to read and find out. Now you could just see how good Mary had been to him in prison. You can see also how Wani, a barrier, has done all that. He took care of him in Juba here, even bought a border for him. Nuer, Moimbari, all of them took care of him. Mary brought him out of prison. He would have brought it there. But in the end, he abandoned Mary and went back to Yar. This man, this scholar, has tried to expose everything. The human weaknesses, the dishonesty, what are available, the human characters. The characters he has covered in the book are really very good. And I have really loved reading such a book, and that the young people whom I would always like to see being creative are being represented by him. And that is the type of employment you were saying. Now that they are manufacturing a lot of students from their universities, but the labor market is not there to receive them. If the labor market has not been made conducive by the politicians who are making decisions in the country, then the young people, should they sit back? They must be creative. And this is what you were saying. And this is what this scholar has done. Then, although students of agriculture, he really demonstrated it. When he came out of prison, he went home, he studied cultivation, he came back here, he opened stores, vegetable stores in Kanyanya, in customs, and he began to prosper. And when Atong saw all this, took Yar and Yar saw this, then the dead man whom Tongolwes has put to have died and has left Yar a widow, was abandoned, and Yar had to go back to Deng because Deng has become prosperous. That is a man who has gone through all these stages. I'm sorry that I'm taking too much time. I will have to stop here. Thank you very much. This is all I want you to be creative, young people.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Honorable Mashara Sheikh, for you really gave a very good synopsis of a lot of layers of conflicts that are there. So you will find in this novel a cultural conflict, an identity conflict, economic conflict, power, exploitation, and also you will find love, kindness, you will find betrayal, you will find consistency, commitment. All these are being interplayed there. You'll find also a lot of geographies. I lived in Omdurman, and when I heard that Deng was living near Stade Al Hilal Stadium, I said, "Oh, this is my place." I was there, and I used to go to Al Hilal Stadium and Birif Stadium. This is where we used to pass before we go to Komboni Masalma. So I think you brought me home when you were speaking about this. Oh, I know, I'm familiar with these places. Then for those who have been living in Haj Yusuf, they'll be familiar with Haj Yusuf in those areas. And if you have been having friends from the Sudanese, the Arabs, the Darfuri, it's all taking us who are being called here Khartoumers. We are being called, those who stayed in Khartoum, we are being called Khartoumers, which is not a fact because all of us, we used to go to the capital and stay there. That doesn't mean our home was Khartoum, but we have been there as the capital of the country. So it's back. Let us clap for all the panelists who are here. And of course, I will open for a very short question and answer. And then, are you signing? You're signing the book. Okay. Now, which one do you like first? We go and sign, or we give him question and answer, and then we conclude with signing. I think we take the question and answer, right? Then we go to signing, and that will be the end of the event. So let us welcome you. Help me with giving the mic. then you raise your hand, give your comment or ask your question to the author or any of the panelists except myself. You cannot ask me questions. So raise your hand and I will see you and give your comment or ask your question. The floor is open. Yes, welcome.
Thank you for the chance. So, my appreciation to Brother Tom. So, it is an amazing book. So, if you can open the first page of the book, so it will be like when you are taking a juice. When we are taking a juice, it's so sweet that you cannot leave the stroke to take a breath. So that is the nature of this book. The moment you open the first page, you will run the rest of the pages until the end. So the first time I read the book I was going through it. It ends in chapter 13, if my mind can remind me very well. Because the last time I read it was in May. And one of my friends took the book. It is not with me at the moment. I thought of it going through the book before I come here. But the book was not close to me to go through it. So if my appreciation to you, brother, I know the College of Natural Resource, University of Juba, where you are in, you might have come with that development back down from your secondary school. It is not easy to get something out of that college. It's one of the toughest colleges in the university. So to borrow the word robbed from the book, I'm being robbed of my understanding in the space where I am at the moment. Why am I saying this? When I first saw the title and I went through the book, I was taking it like how I read the article on Facebook, chapter 13 of the book. When it talks about love affairs, there was a birthday for the girl. You came there, you were giving some second-hand materials to the girl. Someone you met in town was giving iPhone, so your material has to be thrown at you because you were not giving some of the things that were so valuable to the girl. The girl preferred an iPhone more than the things that you brought. So it gave me an interest to buy the book and I went through it. So I was looking at the book as a love business. So, but when I came here, it is taking a different road because it's most commonly of poverty particularly. But if you can clearly read the book, it talks about culture back home, the conflict, the Sudan conflict generally, where people being killed. So you need to run to the bush and hide sometimes. So with the poverty robbed me, it constitutes 20% of the book, but the 80% of the book is about the internal conflict of the Sudan generally, and some family cultures. So I need to leave this space as I exit the gate later with better understanding of the book because I'm getting confused at the moment. Another separate question that I want to put on to the high table and analysts particularly is like, so I'm commonly on Facebook. I find people posting, my book is coming next month, my book is coming next year. But with academic, so we need to leave it clean so that the generation coming after us do not question our present. Why such kind of books were left to exist in their present. So we need to have a body that should actually regulate the writing and approve the novels being released to the market. We need to think of it as per now, before the academic has to be done as the Juba Street, if I may call it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. What's your name? Barnabas. Thank you, Barnabas. Yeah. Thank you. Another comment? Yes? Yeah, any one of you, and then you follow. Yeah. Let's make it brief so that we get back to the author.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Paul Manyang. I'm a geologist by profession. And I'm so impressed to meet Ustaz Gabriel Shadar. You are one of the influential youths in this country. I actually encourage you to do positive things. And my senior in the oil sector, Honorable Machara Sheikh. I'm so honored to meet you today face to face, and Madam Grace and John, the two lecturers of Jamajuba, and Brother Tom. Thank you so much for today. For young people, poverty is reality, and it's our duty to eradicate it. But how can we make that happen when our elders don't pass the baton at the early time? I don't think we lack solution, despite environment being unfriendly. But we, young people, should support each other. When any of us is trying to bring positive narrative like Tom, and this is one of the reasons that made me come today, to come and support him. And I was not expecting the number like this. I was expecting huge number, because these are the events that we are supposed to attend most than parties. We need personal stories that inspire people and make them feel positive of the future, like Poverty Robbed Me by Tom. To encourage young generation that at the end of the tunnel there is light. This is the only comment I want to put across. And thank you, brother, for trying.
Thank you very much. Next, your neighbor there. Yeah, you will follow. Okay.
I respect our sitting. I recognize. I'm called Chol Kognye. My first question is to the panel. We have listened to the stories. I know this is the fictional book. And in whatever people do, there is the good part and the bad part. What I mean to say is that I did not see the critique, so that people like us who are dreaming to write books can learn from critics. I am seeing we are coming to the end, but I haven't seen the critique. I don't know, to the panel, you are looking at the angle of positivity. You also need to look at the angle of negativity so that we learn. We need to write more books. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question about the critique. Yes, I have one, the lady, and then there. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you so much. Mine is just a word of encouragement. I don't have a question. So I want to express my gratitude to John Red for this book. Actually, this is my first book. It's the first book that I've read and I've finished, and I'm so happy because I'm not a good reader. But this book actually just gave me that encouragement, because seeing him as a young man who wrote this book, and besides, he's not actually a literature student. He did agriculture, and even me, I didn't do literature, but seeing him like he did another course, it was definitely difficult for him, but it was an encouragement for me, and I'm so happy that I can say, like, I've started reading books, and actually this is the first book I've finished reading, and definitely I will look into future, like, to read many books and from him and different authors. It's amazing. Thank you so much for encouraging us, the youth. You know, it's a culture that we start reading, and that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's clap for somebody who reads a book and finishes it, although it is the first book. Congratulations. I hope you will read more. Yes, next, yes.
I greet you all in the name of Friday, which is a weekend. It's really tiresome and exhausting being at work the whole time. The first thing that I would really love to say is that congratulations. Congratulations, Tom. And to all the panelists, thank you. Though I came late, I didn't get all. Mama, thank you. I got you when you were speaking. Papa, I got, and I didn't hear what he had to say, but still I believe what you said was sensitive. And thank you so much, the moderator. Mine, I would say, though I didn't read the book, but I've heard of it. Seeing my brother Tong here, it's not the first time I met him. I think I met him 3 months ago. I stay in Hajalabo. I always meet Tong selling books all the time. He's a youth that has decided like to throw away all the words that people are going to say. A big man like this, how can you sit on the street to sell books? How do you walk around selling books? But Tong has done it. I think he has broken one of the negative gender stereotypes people have in South Sudan. And thank you so much. That's why I'm here today. I once hosted Tong on one of my talk shows, and he really told us his inspiration, and it's really beautiful, like for someone to come up. And to me, though I did not read the book, but the way people talk about the book, the literature in the book, the wording in the book, and how he came up with the story, you know, this is a reality of a kind of country we are in. And therefore, Tom, you are a brilliant man, and God will bless you. I definitely wish I had a daughter. I'll give her to you. Mine is just a simple question. No, it's not even a question. It's just a hope or something that we, something that we wish to see. I really pray from today onwards, Tom will not sit on the streets and sell books again. I believe that Tom doesn't deserve that only, he deserves more than that. And to you, Tom, I would really love you to tell us, is there a feedback, is there a hope for you after you've written this book, that somehow maybe some parents are starting to change their mindset, because we girls, we are dying in silence. Even if we love someone, we cannot get to them. So through the story you have written, we hope that there will be future for us, and our parents definitely through what they have read will give us to the men we love. And I think that's the dream of every young girl in this room and every young man. So please, you tell us, like, if there is any hope or if there's any positive feedback that the way society puts women and men changes from your writing. Thank you. In the name of Friday, hope you all party tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your passionate comments, sir. Let me say the story ends with a happy ending. So, yes, there was one gentleman back there, and then you will come. Okay, good. I will come to you there. The cameraman is hiding you, it's not me.
Yes, good evening. I'm Abok Achol, that is the name I prefer always. Don't use Christian name because I was enslaved for that. So I'm an author of the novella, The Cry of My Soul. So many of you might not get any information or did not get information about it, but I appreciate Tom for doing that. He's selling that book in the market. So he's not only an author or agriculturalist, but Tom also is a great mentor to the other young people that are around in South Sudan, and also is enlightening and showing us ways how we can survive, how we can stay without those supportive parents and without the supporting politicians like Mr. Mayor will set it there. So thank you, Tom, on that. So coming to book, I read the book and I wasn't having that courage to give out my reviews here, because I was still going through it. I may end up giving a wrong conclusion if I give out my review now, because the book covered a lot of brain in life. So one of them that I felt in the first day when I get it, that poverty robbed me, is how they behaved the people, how they took our girls on the street here. That is the first thing that comes in my mind. So, and around Yamajuba there, we are suffering, who are dating from that end. So, and still, that is not the final conclusion. We have a lot of things to say about the book. I personally is inspired by the book. I was inspired when I read it. Plus the other book that I read in 2020, I think a little remember that. That is No Time to Mourn. It was written by 40 or 30-something South Sudanese women. This book was launched here. When I read it, at least I felt the pain that I'm going through in the street here. And when Tom came up with this book, I also get inspired too. And I want also among the gentlemen who are seated here and the other big people, and to the panels, even if you succeeded, or you are working as a person now who is having that big personality, at the end of the day, we want to know how we're going to follow you. It's not only that. And that's given me to the inattention when Madame Grace was talking, that she's a lecturer in the University of Juba, and even the way she spoke to us indicate that we as young people also, despite the generation of war that has gone and the generation of liberation through guns, we are now in the liberation through education, so through social transformation. So I felt short of word when you go to University of Juba, you get 600 people doing medicine in first year, medical laboratory 400, natural resources, but I don't see people joining arts. In the College of Art and Humanity, you may only get very few people there. This still tells us that we don't know how we can bring up our country in the best way. So that is what I can say on that part. My question to you is, because I took time. So, despite the challenges that you have felt, many people challenge the cover and what you have written there. Others talk of you copy paste the work of the girl was mine. So this is what I heard on the street. What are the other challenges that you have also encountered? And what is your reaction? What are your reaction to those challenges? This is my question. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you there. I think the questions are getting many, but we will just have one round of questions. I hope you are taking notes. Yes, here, and then I will move to the ladies in front here. Let us make it brief.
Thank you so much. The panelists, my brother Tom, and the audience, the entire community who are watching us online. Good evening. My name is Mathieu Modit. I'm relatively young, and I'm one of the people here as knowledge on his book. I really have some pain, toothaches, and it was removed this morning. But I felt, despite the pain, I must attend this launch of the books because we don't want them to be alone. I thank everyone who have turned up for this, and it is a great pleasure. I'm a hepatitis activist, for those who doesn't know me. If you have seen anything concerning hepatitis in this country, I always make noise about hepatitis because it is a disease killing people. Coming back to the launch of the book is so challenging to our nation, our communities, and how we have been behaving. And the tongues really challenge all of us that despite the fact that he was agriculturalist, still he wrote the books, and agriculture was a career, but he is talented in writing, and this is the lessons all of us need to see. That there is a gift, you have the talent you have, is what you need to exercise. You cannot be good in it, but now he's still challenging us. In the nearby future, if also Sudanese can buy the books, it can be billionaire. And on top of that, Tom is using Genesis chapter 1 verse 28. I'm a good reader of the Bible. Genesis chapter 1 verse 28 talks about fruitfulness, which is productivity. And it is what Tongues is doing. So they want to challenge all of us that I need to be fruitful. By producing something that will produce us, will have impact to all South Sudanese. So this needs all of us to think about it, not to think of the career, I'm a doctor, then I need always to be sitting waiting for a patient to clerks and also give them medication. This all now need to change for us to see that beautiful South Sudan we are all aspiring. On top of all what he has done is the there is a torch he has mentioned. It's called Tonya Kola Air and Tony Mankenjo. This is a vast swampy area That is very good. The Deng has got the resources from that. And it is our land. It was giving me an idea, how can I invest in that swampy area, left unused, and it is only the cattle that are grazing in it, that we can produce something that can supply Warabi State, can supply Northern Barkazal, can supply Unity State, with catch crops. It has given us that idea, and it is all of us now to think into it that agriculture can change the narrative. We Deng has really made it in the history.
Okay, thank you.
Last but not least is to the lecturers and my brother, who is also a journalist, that if you have been producing writings what has been written, and we don't want to tell the realities of how we can make these South Sudanese who are studies in the field you are teaching to things of spinach from University of Juba and create his own business, that a company that he will employ thousands of people, then giving them the skills that you are going to be employed by oil, petroleum, if you are journalists, geologists. It is really changing. So I want you to be example by writing the books and tell them this is how we should think, rather than copy and paste and we produce thousand and they roam around street of Juba. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate thanks for all these things.
Thank you. Yes, the lady here, and then the lady next.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Avaluna Arek. I'm a student at University of Juba. I'm one of the friends of Tom. In the first place, I would like to thank God for having brought us here, for having made this day a wonderful day. This is the day that I and my friend Tom have been waiting for, and we truly appreciate you for coming and also for keeping yourselves late up to this time. We know that the other things that could have kept you busy, but you're still here. My brother Joseph Jadar, we thank you. You've always stood with people, and we knew you would stand with us. Our beloved Honorable, this is the time that you should be resting. Our lecturer, you're all here. We thank you so much. I'm going to give a comment about the book. I read the book, and I'm one of the people that is massively marketing this book. The sale of Tong's book was good. It is a story that has actually inspired people. When Tom told me that I'm writing a book, I thought he was joking. But the thing is that every evening when we are together, he will tell me, Areg, I need time, I'm going to write something. I have pages to write every day. And I know when he finished that book of his, he had not yet graduated. He hadn't yet finished his school, but he had time. So this notion of saying that I don't have enough time, that the lectures are too hectic is not there. There is time enough for everyone. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. And those 24 hours in a day, when you utilize them, you will actually achieve anything that you want. There is a book that I read by Paul Celan. He said that when you want something, the whole universe will conspire to help you to achieve it. No matter what it is, as long as you want to do it, it will happen. Tom wanted to write a book. He wanted to share a story that will motivate many people, and indeed he did that. He also wanted to launch a book since last year when the book was brought out. He tried many times, but it has happened. The universe has helped him because it's something that he wanted. The book has actually motivated me. I'm one of the students who was accepted in the College of Medicine, and I've actually worked in the medical field for around 3 years, but poverty has robbed me. I couldn't have enough funds to finance my medical career, so I shifted to the School of Business, and I'm doing well in it. And since medicine is something that I want, I know I will still go back, and you guys will see me graduating in the medical school in time to come. I want to say that the story of one person is the story of everyone, and one man's quest is the quest of all humanity. What I want to say, if many of you have read the book, there are some similar stories that you've read in it, okay? A story that has happened to your cousin, to yourself, or to anyone that you know. So that is what it means by one person's story is the story of everyone. Whatever that human beings want to achieve, human beings want to be successful, okay? It is not only you who wants, it's everybody who wants. So what I want to say is that when you become a person of your dreams, then your success story will become a motivation for all the people. Tom will be a successful person, I know that. And the more he succeeds, the more you people will be living testimony. People who have seen him selling books on the streets, people who have seen him helping other authors to sell their books, like my brother, the author of The Cry of My Soul, and the books of Alit, and the books of many other authors. We used to sell them. So we have built something which is called integrity. It is something with Tong. When you give him your book and the price that is meant to be sold, he will sell it and he will give you the books at the right time. He has also been able to help other people to get publishing centers, because in our country we have Rack Media, of which it's a bit expensive, but the other side is a bit cheap. But you have to get a trustworthy person who will not run away with your money. Tong has always been helping, and he's one of the person who has actually helped me in time discipline. And also on the issue of reading books, he has actually helped me a lot. I remember he could read a very interesting book and say, I read a book like this. He will send to me the PDF form, or he will actually go through the book, because we always stay together. And this is one of the things that I have to thank him. God will bless you, and you'll always be a motivation for us. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you. When I listen to you and I see you, I see some of the sources of his motivation to write. Thank you for inspiring him. Thank you for being there with him. Yes, welcome.
I observe the protocol. Good evening, all. I'm Veronica Agel, and I'm really excited to be here. I feel speechless. Mine is just a comment. I would like to appreciate you so much, Tong. I haven't known Tong for long, but Tong and I we are alumni of a program called Yali with Matiop here. So the first time we met was when we were doing a dialogue on a national budget at Landmark Hotel. That's where I met Tom for the first time. I think that was in February, January. So, and he had his book with him during that dialogue, but I didn't get the chance to take the book because I was in a hurry. And when I saw online that he had a book launch, I said I'm not going to miss, even if work ends at 5. Human resource manager at Rack Media. So I will say in the right hands. For any publication, I will coordinate it. So I said I wasn't going to miss. I have to rush down here and attend, and support my brother in this journey. I did literature in high school as an optional, but I've interacted with, Ngugi wa Thiong'os and the Kamara Liars and the Wole Soyinka, Chinua Achebe, but I didn't know that in South Sudan that we really have writers. So if for those that have interacted with the books, you'd see that the writers or the authors, are from other countries. But seeing that the first South Sudanese authored book that I read was the one from my friend. I don't know if you all, I think most of you know Nyajok, the author of I Am My Mother's Wildest Dreams. So that was the first South Sudanese authored book I read. And also meeting Tong, and that he wrote a book. So I was really, really, really impressed. That at least, our country is coming up. And another brother that just shared his book also that mentioned. So I'm really happy that we have such talent and we can tap onto that talent, the one that the youth are portraying. It's up to us because the majority here are the youth. And we have the energy and the zeal, you see, to promote our own. You still have a long way to go or to age. So this is the time to help our brothers like Tom. Use your social media platforms, put their books out there, share a few things that you've read from the book. Let's change the stereotype, and together in this journey, we can move far. So Tom, I really appreciate you so much, and to tell you that we're in this together.
Thank you. two last ones. The lady here or the man, yes. And then here, if you make it short, I will give you chances. Yeah, okay.
Praise the Lord, somebody. So this is a word that we have not had. You can call me Pastor David Bidal. Fully, you can call me David Philip John. It is my first time to see my brother Tom, but I can still remember last year when he posted the book on Facebook. Even I called, but I did not make it to get the book. Amen. So I would like to recognize the presence of each and every person in this place, more especially the panel. Amen. So it is very important. What made me to come to this place, it is the heart of seeing South Sudanese men, more especially young men, rising up. So this is the only reason that made me to come to this. I've not read the book, but I have a strong belief in me that if you can change somebody's mind, you can change where he's going. Because you cannot reach where your mind has not reached. So I'm so glad and grateful also for the book, and I believe by the help of God, I'll read it. May the Lord God bless us all. So next time, at least we should open with the word of prayer, because God is important also. I've been here, we did not open with the word of God.
Thank you. Yes, here. Then next, and then I will take the last person up there, and then we conclude with the panel here.
Praise God. Thank you so much. I will not delay. I'm by the name Y. James, so I really appreciate the presence of every one of us, especially the panels and honorables. So I'm so glad you are here, all of us, to support young people. This is the spirit that we need as we grow in the country. I knew Tom, but I just called him. I remember I called you and you just delivered a book to me. I read your book and it was so inspiring. Before I read the book, I was really judging the books at the cover, and I was like, Tom is really talking to me, okay? Because that is the title that everyone is experiencing here. Is that not true, young people? This is what we are passing through in this country. If you did not pass through it, maybe your brother, your sister has passed through it, okay? The poverty is the theme, all right? And it's a song that everyone is singing in this country. Even if you did not read this book, you know that is the situation that you are in, okay? But I really thank you, Tom, for coming up. And unfortunately, I did not even hear that you are not a linguist. You know, I thought maybe you have taken, you know, that field. But you have really challenged me that you are doing different course, which is really another message to me. Okay. There was a time I published an article on #1 Citizen News newspaper, and I was told by one of the guys that, you know, are you a journalist? And I say no, because they thought only journalists can publish on the news, which is not the case. You know, you can write anything. You can be a new writer, and does not qualify you if you know how to write English. So you can do that. And indeed, Tom, you have really challenged us. It is a message to young people that the experience that you're having, put it into writing. The next generation will really benefit on that, okay? Because this is the personal life story that we are really storing. It does not matter whether you are from which background, as well as you know how to put them into what. This is what we need. I wonder, when I look at the flyers, I saw sponsored by Quick Bank and WWF plus Seniors Hub. I was like, is Tom not from University of Juba? Yes, if it's Tom from University of Juba, what is University of Juba? Is University of Juba not happy with Tom, the student that came up with this initiative? All right? this is the spirit that we need from the University of Judah. The University of Judah should really come up and support young people like Tom.
Thank you.
What is the problem to our people? Don't we really have that spirit? All right? So really, I really wanted to know, lecturers, is Tom not passing the criteria that you guys see?
Okay, thank you.
But we are inspired by Tom, and I really thanks. May God bless you all.
Thank you for your comment. And here, and then a gentleman after, and I get back. Ali, I think I'm giving back to Alice, right? Right? You are getting back your mic. Okay.
The panel, my fellow student, I'm Mr. Lerwal Moses. I'm also a student at the University of Juba, pursuing my second master's degree. The reason why I'm here, I was inspired by the book. And this book is very important. And when I was going through Alice's page this morning, my conscience just told me that let me go and attend. I either got 2 copies of the book so that at least one will be to my friend and one to be to myself. The question that I want to pose to the panel is, as lecturers, mostly to Gabriel and to Madame, what are we doing in our country to install the reading culture? What are we doing in our country to install the reading culture so that we support the authors of the book? Without the reading culture, the writers themselves will feel discouraged. Okay? And I'm taking this opportunity to encourage all of us students to build a reading culture in ourselves so that we support our brothers. Okay? The lessons are very many we will get, but without a reading culture, okay, we will not support them. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. The last person, welcome.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. To the panels, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. And to the moderator, to my colleague, Tom. Tom is the colleague in the street with me. My name is Dab Payagadet. By profession, I'm a chemical engineer. But by default, the setting in our country, I found myself in the street. I actually sell books like Tom. I started when I finished school. I said, okay, now I don't want to go to Juba and just be in the street, or maybe writing things, posting big men on social media, saying Dol Kabir and all this so that they give me something. So I said, no, I must do something so that I survive. So when I came to Juba, I brought some books with me. I brought a printer, some computers. Then I started doing things for people who want my service. So I'm surviving. I'm not a flattering politician. First of all, I would like to appreciate South Sudanese writers, starting with my friend Tom, who has done a great job by writing Poverty Robbed Me. Poverty robbed all of us. It is because of poverty that me as a professional in chemical engineering found myself in the street. Because now the big men are putting their children, you see? So that they garner all the money in the country, then they take the children outside. See, that is still poverty. Poverty also has got a lot of things that it inflicts on all of us, right? Now there are very many kids in the street because of poverty. So poverty has robbed all of us. So Tom, I appreciate you for writing that. And the theme of the book is really very interesting. It has everything that we need to know about South Sudan. I have not yet read it, but I will read it. The importance of writing and narrating our stories as South Sudanese is very important. First of all, we must not let others write our stories as South Sudanese, because they will come out distorted. Yes. Definitely, if you read a story written about us by a foreigner, it will always be biased, right? But if we write our own stories as South Sudanese, then at least we will know that if someone writes something, for example, if he comes from a certain community and he writes something, we will be able to know, okay, this person somehow is biased in this way, or is not biased in this way. But someone who comes from outside will not have a full view of our country. So we need to write our stories as South Sudanese. So all of us, regardless of the profession you're in, you must write. Because, you know, writing does not require you to must have gone to a literature school or to study English. Because we have gone through the same procedure from primary up to secondary, up to university, being studying English, right? So you can write. And one of the most important things about reading is that you can be able to write now. So we have to read. Reading is key in every society. If we don't read, then we fall in a deep pit of doom. Because now we will not be having ideas. But if you read, you will have ideas. Then my last point is education. As South Sudanese, this is one thing I always stress wherever I go. In any gathering that I find people, I tend to talk about it. Education is key. But then, as South Sudanese, we have a problem of trying to play with education. We want to become, you know, Muhandisin, we want to become journalists, we want to become doctors, we want to become, you know, any field or any profession that you can name. But in a very short time, you know, we don't want to go to grow organically as people, you know, so that after some time, you're able to actually produce what you have studied at school. Now our children, after going to East Africa, they study there for like maybe 2 to 3 years. You know, from primary 8 here, they go to senior 1, senior 2, then they come back. From senior 2, you know, then they come and sit in senior 4 and pass. Then you find them at the University of Juba. You see, that is a very critical point all of us must take care of. Because, you know, destroying a country does not require you to get Dr. Reagan and President Kiir to shoot everyone here. Huh? You know, it only requires us to be ignorant. And being ignorant requires, you know, just needs us to play with education. So we must make sure our children go through right channels of education. And that's why we have the people who have gone to school, who have acquired some basic knowledge in education, must also enlighten our people in the villages, so that our children in the villages, the little girls in the villages, must not have their eyes plucked out. Because that is really, it is sending a very negative image of us South Sudanese. You know, it is always in the air that, you know, a father removed the eyes of his daughter because, you know, the daughter refused to get married to someone that he wants. That is because of poverty, right? That young lady has been robbed by poverty. If the father was some rich guy, he would not have removed the eyes of his daughter. So we have to fight poverty in very different ways.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's clap for everyone who has asked a question or has made a comment. And I'm left with 5 minutes only. Each one of us will give 1 minute or 2 minutes for his comments, because we are not turning this into lecturing, because we just want to celebrate. As to the question, why we are not having a critique, I think a critique should be in another function. Even me, myself, this is my specialty. I cannot come here to critique a book that I'm selling. So I'm selling today, tomorrow I will critique it in another function. I cannot critique as a moderator. Excuse me for that. On the question of encouraging reading in South Sudan is really a luxury. But if you have the will, you can find time to read. Because frankly speaking, I am what I am because of my reading. And I learn a lot of things out of class, not in the lecture room. I graduated 24 years ago and I'm still reading. I'm carrying a book. I have gadget. I have books on my Apple. I have books on my mobile. I have a Kindle, Paperwhite. I have about 3 cupboards full of books. For those who come to my house, they can see them. So I cannot imagine myself without reading. And all the ideas I have, where do I bring them? Sometimes I create them because I could not create those things if I was not reading. So even my level of reading has helped me being promoted every time. You can leave your colleagues behind because you are having more capacities because of reading. But that is also an institutional thing. If children here, this is a big issue I'm seeing, if we wake up our children at 5:30 and by 7 or by 6:30 they are in classes and they don't release the kids up to 5 p.m., these kids will hate school. You are not helping these kids. The system of education in this country is not helping children to like reading. They are kept in schools, but they come back, most of them, empty-minded. They are tired. They are this and this. They don't really have that thing. We don't have public libraries. That is a government policy to do with city council, county authorities, whatsoever. Public libraries. In Khartoum, when we were young, you go to kiosks. Kiosk is here, and you have a subscription. 10 years, whatever, I have a subscription. I pay small and then I take those small shares and I read them. So we used to have that culture of reading around us. Now it's not there. Social media is really making people more ignorant than educating them, because all the knowledge they are getting there is very superficial. So it's a real challenge. We didn't have social media. Now I'm struggling with social media. I put them off and I read from a Paperwhite, because if I'm reading on my mobile, somebody, hey, how are you, and all these kind of things, I will not really focus. So culture of reading is very important. Also, how much people are getting so that they can just read a newspaper. Nothing. If somebody is being given a salary of 8,000 and he's an officer, will he read or try to get something for his kids? We have to be serious. So the states and all these have to create something that will help people to read. I don't have more to say, and I give the mic. Let me start with Chol, and then I come to you, and then I come to the author, and then I conclude with our elder. Let's start with Chol. 2 minutes, and then we get back to the others.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it has been really great evenings, and we are not going to answer all of the questions, I guess, as it has been said by our moderator. There is one gentleman who raised it that we have to create some authority that regulates any book that we are writing. Of course, that one is a great idea, and I'm sure we have already we have something called Writers Writing Fellowship. I think they have been doing a lot of activities. I follow them on social media actually, and I don't know actually if they are regulating or they are sometimes reviewing books.
Mostly promoting.
Yeah, so they can promote. Okay, that's what we can say. But also, it's a good idea that we can able to make some authority, but that one can be in our agreement, because most of us are from different places. Like me, I studied in Ethiopia. So if the idea came to me while I was in Ethiopia, so I can have maybe different perspective that I want to come and apply here. So it can be sometimes challenging, but if we agree that, if South Sudanese agree that we can create something like that, it can be also wonderful. There's one gentleman also who said that the book is related to to other book called The Girl Was Mine. Of course, you know, sometimes book can relate, but what we can see here is the history of Deng. Okay, we are dealing with the history of Deng, and I'm sure in one way or another, I've not read the book, The Girl Was Mine, but I think in some way they cannot be related, because this one is focusing on the true fact or the real story that have been happening on the ground. So in this case, maybe the writing style can look maybe similar, but in some cases, if you try to summarize it again, maybe they cannot look the same. And of course, when we are writing a book, you know, there are books that have been written before. Like I used to have my favorite book called Think and Grow Rich. That book has been studied, like the research has been done for 30 years, okay, before publishing it. This American author who is called Napoleon Hill, what he did was he was trying to look at the stories of most successful people in America at that time. So he did this one for almost 30 years. After that, he went and launched the book. So this one was exceptional because when we want to see like what is those successful people are doing for them to be where they are. So this book can be different from a book like Fuck the Rob Me, because it is focusing on some principle. They want to explain some principle. And also we have a book called Tough Time Never Lasts, but Tough People Do. Also the guy tried to also explain the principle. So this one can be related in some case. And I recommend them. If you guys can have time, you can also go through them. The books also, some encourage us to do the reading culture, of course, as it has been said by our moderator. Without reading, actually, it can be, I think like we cannot able to live normally, you know. Sometimes we can find really a good life when we are reading. It's not that you can okay, it's not that when you are not reading, you cannot succeed, but mostly if you want creativity and all if you want to open your mind to the world, let's say it, we encourage you to read. And also just with time, maybe if our country is growing slowly, we will have all this one of public libraries and the rest, so that youth can have time to read. And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, Ustaz, for your comments. Let me come to Ustaz Grace. Welcome.
Good evening, everybody, for this wonderful evening. Yeah, there is a question which was asked. Is Tom not from the University of Juba? Yes, he's there. I came here as Grace because I love my son and I love the book. But we have a research unit headed by the director. Maybe I will pass the message to him, and then next time when we meet, I will let you know what he will tell us. So there is a saying that if you want to hide information from Africans, put it in writing. We are lazy in writing. So my students, open your eyes to get more information, new and old. They are in writings. One time I went to Kampala, I bought something, and they wrapped some food item with a piece of paper. So when I reached home, I opened it. I read it was something about South Sudan, and I was wondering. Now people are writing about us, and they're what? Hiding or destroying the information before we read. So have you seen this? This was in Kampala, so I just got a piece of maybe one paper behind, and in front it was about South Sudan, and I said, hey, people are coming, the relief workers are coming here, they're writing more things, maybe it may be lies or true, we don't know, but they destroy there. But in the media somewhere you hear that, yes, things are like this and like this, so let us open our eyes to see and read. So here we are coming to do what? Let us be of good characters. We may positively or negatively criticize someone, but let it be with the truth. And this one, we are scientists and we talk about facts. So don't come here and criticize someone negatively and then you say that no. We are here to support one another. If there is a negativity in what is done, we come together. How can we help this negativity to become positive. So here we are coming here to support Tong on his book. The book is wonderful, and it opens our thinking, critic. How do you read? How do you analyze when something is writing? So maybe you people who will further go for your studies, you'll find that you will go somewhere and you are given a book to critically analyze it. Is it a good paper or is it a bad paper? It will come to you one time, and then you will know that analyzing will give you the clue of something. So we should have many skills, and Tom has told us that we can do it through writing and we can do it through other things. So let us be multi-skilled people so that we survive in all circumstances, because our labor force, I don't know, maybe our uncle will tell us more about that, but let us be job creators, not job seekers. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I will break the protocol and I go directly to Uncle. Then the author himself will conclude with your thanks before I go back to Alice.
Okay. One lady said, girls are dying in silence. Where are you? Oh, yes. Now, the message is no longer under the control of the Dinka people, or the Nuers, or the cattle owners. It has come to an open, where it is being seen by everybody. We are on transition from our different cultures to one culture of South Sudan. And all what is happening, we are being told that we are aiming at that place. We are being told that we should abandon money. I mean, we should abandon cattle and we go for money. Alwel Bola Lueng is already a pilot. You agree with me? You know that? And there are many of them, women, who have chosen now to be pilots. Why would a pilot accept again to be married to an illiterate person? I was in one of the marriages where people demanded 700 cows. Then there was a confrontation, arguments here and there, until it was settled at 500. My message was to our community was that days of cattle are numbered. If they are numbered, the Nuer, the Dinka should understand that the Nuer who come to universities will never, when they study with girls from other tribes of South Sudan, and the other girls from other tribes of South Sudan, if they get employment and they own cars and they own better houses, will you go and look for somebody for 500 cows to go and marry? Or will you get your colleague who is already owning a house and a car? We have to be reasonable. So the message is simply that the Dinka girls being married with such a number of cows will have to be abandoned. And people will go for cheaper marriages or balaisa. Which is the fact which is happening. We are in transition. We have, modernization is a package. And the Dinka or the Nuers or others will never be free to take this part of it and leave this part of it. They will either take it all or leave it. We cannot be flying from here to London or to South Africa or going to debate, and they think that they will have cattle in the countryside. The cattle in the countryside, our brothers, don't respect us who are inside here. We have that example. They have lost our cattle, and they say that they've been stolen by the Nuers. And I'm being told that the Nuer are saying that we will never allow somebody taking tea and having a cattle camp. No. So the issue is with you girls. Are you ready to tell your colleagues that, please, I am aiming at that? Let me secure my future before love you are talking about. Because in the book of Tong, there is somewhere there that they ended up with Yar without having completed medicine. Are you to blame any other body, or now Yar who accepted to abandon medicine and they go for love with death? These are issues we must see. Again, there is an example in Tong East. They say, justice delayed is justice denied. If that person was to be tried today and made known to everybody that he has been executed for having done such a crime, people will immediately respect it. But it may take 1 or 2 or 3 years and people will forget about it. That's it. Now, I don't want to talk much, but I would like to ask the chemical engineer. Chemical engineer, from where did you graduate? Okay. Then tell the chemical engineer that Machara Chik said, chemical engineer, come here.
Just one question.
Yeah. From where did you graduate?
I graduated from Makerere University.
From Makerere University?
Yeah.
Okay. What do chemical engineers do in Uganda?
In Uganda, chemical engineers, the ones that are making things like soaps, things like water treatment, things like sodas. And now Uganda is also having oil, so they are going to be...
Okay, you stop there. You just leave the issue of fuel. The sugar you are taking your tea here, is it from where?
It's also made by chemical engineers.
From where? Why are we not making it here?
Then where are the farmers that are making the sugar, so that chemical engineers can do it, can make it?
Okay. Then, before I said that there are 4 factors of production. The land, which we have here, very rich land. 2, the capital, which has been made available. And when I was under Secretary of Ministry of Petroleum, I signed a lot of billions of dollars which went into the account of the Ministry of Finance in the central bank. Have this money been invested to get employment for the chemical engineers? Why don't we have Mangala Sugar Factory? Why don't we have Malus Sugar Factory? Why don't we have a wheat rice scheme? Why don't we have Ansara where there should be soap, eatable oil, and all the rest of it? These are issues we are to solve. These are issues we are to solve. So, the problem is somewhere. And I have said before that the investment, if we don't have investment in this country, these things will not happen. And to have investment, you must have peace. And if you don't have peace, people are rebelling every now and then we will end up without a country. Okay, I will have to stop here, but my message to you is, you read the book called Why Nations Fail. The book called Why Nations Fail, and concentrate on inclusive institutions and extractive institutions, and come to your conclusions. I stop here.
Thank you very much. Yes, Why Nations Fail is a very revealing book by Darren Asimoglu and James Patterson. ومترجم كمان للغة العربية لماذا تفشل الأمم. So you will find maybe a PDF copy of it. It's very educative. You can read it. Let me come to the conclusion, closing remarks for the debate, because I think he will be coming back in after Alice takes over. Welcome, Tom.
Okay, thank you, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank God and thank you people under this shelter. It is not easy to be here for 2 or more hours. A special thank has to go to Kush Bank for sponsoring this, also Sinners Hub, and Writers Writing Fellowship. These are the 3 categories behind this launch. I thank you guys. To answer the question of my brother Paul, why are we not forming an association as the writers? We have started the process already. I think it was February. We said as the writers, although we did not reach many people, but the people we could reach at our capacity, we said, and we said we should form an association that will protect our writing. And we are doing that. We have already taken some steps, like we have written a constitution, and the other processes are on the way, will be done officially soon. So we are on to that. I will not comment a lot on the other things that he mentioned about the critic, about the plagiarism. So everyone has a way of looking at things. Maybe you look at the other angle, but you do not look at the other side, because if we compare the two, they are totally different. So you will have to do your research. Coming to the question of my sister Alwat, I got a lot of feedbacks from people, positive and negative both. You know, when you get negative feedback, it will also help you to change and see what you can do about it next time when you are writing something. You always don't get the best at the start, but when you go through it multiple times, you can master that thing. And I believe my next book will not have those things that happened today. So the other feedback I get from other people, that people are supporting me. I appreciate you for supporting. People who buy, people who tell me, well, keep doing that. There are people who sponsor. Even launching it, putting the book into a paper publication, it was sponsored by someone. So this is a help, and this is the feedback I can get from people. Also, a lot of people give me feedback, like a lot of people in this country said, I've been robbed. This is my book that I have written. This is my story. One time I met a guy who was actually, his story inspired me, and it was like, to him it was like I was writing his story. Earlier 2014 or 13, around there, I think he got a girl pregnant, and then he was put in prison. He was put in cupboard, and the girl was given to someone else. And then when he came out, he was threatened. If you try to go back there, you will be killed. You know, his story was so fascinating. He was telling me that the general took him to his house for 3 days, beating him, without taking him to the police. So that thing made him even forget about his wife when he came out. So these are the stories that we hear always in the street. Coming to my book, what challenges are you facing? I'm facing a lot of challenges when it comes to support. Although there are people who are supporting, there are also people who just sit back on the top. Our media, they are not supporting us. Like, I have never appeared in any newspaper in South Sudan, but I was published 3 times in Mount Kenyan Times newspaper. And I was also published in a magazine called African Literature Magazine in Zimbabwe and in Botswana. And these are different people, and you can never hear about me in the country. And we should be the people to support each other. We should be the one to narrate our own stories. But other people outside the country, they're acknowledging. I was nominated for the book. My book was nominated in one of the company in Botswana. It's called Mutafola, Literature Africa. I was nominated in one of the best books in Africa. That was Egos. Although I did not win the award, I appreciate them for acknowledging me. So these are the things which we do as a country. We have to help each other. We have to